Okay, so when we talk about safe sex, most people's first thought is the use of contraception. Of course, this is correct, but having safe sex involves so much more. Abstinence is the only way to completely avoid unplanned pregnancy as well as prevent the transmission of STIs. But since we know that sex can be a healthy part of someone's life, there are other ways to make sure that you are staying safe. First, discussing sexual histories. Although this may feel a little awkward, it's important to be open with your partner. This could include sharing if you're having sex with more than one person, having sex unprotected, or sharing when the last time you were tested for STIs was. Getting routine STI testing is another way to, or another part of having safe sex. If you are sexually active, you should be getting tested at least once a year. However, if you have more than one partner ever participate in unprotected sex, you should get tested at least every 3 to 6 months or before having sex with a new partner, as well as if you believe that you've been exposed. So, next, setting and respecting boundaries. The first step to establishing boundaries is taking time to think about what your values are and what you want. Once you have these answers, it's time to discuss those with your partner. It's likely that you and your partner have differing levels of knowledge, preferences, or sexual experience. Using and then moving to the next one, we want to make sure that we are using contraception correctly. I take the time to emphasize correctly because typical use of contraception is what we most commonly see, and this decreases the efficiency or effectiveness of contraception. For example, when they're used perfectly, a condom is 98% effective. With typical use, though, it's only about 85% effective. So there's many things that can influence typical use of contraceptions. And I think about with birth control pills, if you aren't taking them at the same time every single time, that can make it more likely to be towards typical use. And same thing with keeping a condom in your wallet. So, of course, that's a good practice to have be ready. But when you're walking around with your wallet and it's rubbing and creating friction, then that can start to break down the barrier of the condom. So that would make it more typical use than perfect. But ultimately, it's on everybody to be responsible for safer sex. And I asked the question, whose responsibility is it to have a condom? And that is anybody who's planning on having sex. So start to think about the ways that you can start to practice this. All right, so let's talk about how you can get sexual here on campus. So in our office, you can stop by at any point for condoms, lubrication, and emergency contraception. You can also get this from Student Health Services. I also want to mention that we have free STI testing on campus for students. So twice monthly, we have walk-in free STI testing where students go to a bus and you walk up. You don't have to give insurance. We don't get the name, so it's completely anonymous to us. They have your name so they can contact you with results, but unknown to our services, to our office at all. And then we also have free take-home self-testing STI kits, which is something new and something really exciting. And you can come by, once again, Student Health Services or our office at any point to be able to grab those. Okay, so I know that that was a lot of information, but there are still some main points that I want you to take away today. So a lot of the things, like I said earlier, we're not the fun police, and a lot of the things that we talk about, we talk in terms of safe use. How can we use this safely? But with nicotine, that is the one thing that we talk about that there is no level of safe use, and that's what the research says, right? So I also want to mention that you can still have fun while drinking responsibly. So remember what the method stands for. Also, not all students choose to use, and that is also okay too. It's very normal. Substances and sex can get very messy. Consent cannot be given when a person is incapacitated, and protection is less likely to be used properly or at all. It's on us to stop sexual assault. If you see something, say something. Hold your friends accountable. Remember the 3/5 Ds. Know what consent is and is not. And then also the final, be sex positive by always getting consent, seeking the most pleasurable and safest sex for all parties, and never shaming somebody for healthy and consensual sex. So thank you for your attention today. I hope you learned something new. You can follow us on Instagram at Wellness UAB to stay up to date about any events that we have going on. And if you or your chapter ever want any trainings or activities, we would love to come out and help with that. You can email us at wellnesspro@uab.edu or submit a request on our website. Thank you.